This drawing is undoubtedly a bit of a mess. Scholars have been content to describe it as a student drawing corrected by Rembrandt, a category of little interest, one would suppose. But when one comes to examine the first draft, which is drawn more delicately, one cannot but admire the student, in inverted commas, and be rather horrified that Rembrandt could have drawn so brutally over such a successful work. Also, it's impossible to find among Rembrandt's students one so gifted. This drawing has got to be Rembrandt correcting Rembrandt, or more accurately, Rembrandt pursuing a new idea on top of an existing drawing, albeit one of top quality in his production. The changes do not improve it as an object of enjoyment, but the drawing tells us a great deal about Rembrandt the artist. There is a painting in the National Gallery, London, which tells us the same story. It is the subject of Chapter 6 in their publication, Rembrandt, Art in the Making. The story told by that painting, the lamentation over the dead Christ, tells us about the same wild man who would not hesitate for a moment before ruining his work in pursuit of a new idea. The painting was developed in parallel with a drawing of the same subject, now in the British Museum. Both tell a tale of being cut up and reassembled in a marathon of creation and destruction. Rembrandt charges on regardless of the splendour of what he may have achieved and may ruin. He is fearless and unconcerned to cut a dash with his audience. In the drawing, we do not need X-rays to see what has happened. It's very difficult to erase completely a line drawn with ink on absorbent paper. If we look carefully at the drawing of Job himself, it's not difficult to see that in the first draft he is arguing with his wife, who turns for support to one of the comforters, now so completely washed out and drawn over that we can no longer discern his reaction, though by general stance of his figure we can guess he's sympathizing not with Job but with his wife. In the second attempt, Rembrandt has changed Job, who now makes a gesture of despair. His wife waves her stick in anger. I judge these two versions of Job as so superior that we cannot possibly doubt the hand of Rembrandt in the first version, and we can agree with the experts that Rembrandt himself is responsible for the second. The same first-rate quality can be found in the remains of the washed-out comforter. The rest is average Rembrandt. It's more than probable that some dealer has got at this figure to try to make the drawing more saleable. Nonetheless, I would wish to promote this drawing from one of peripheral interest to one of the greatest possible interest to Rembrandt's students. Benish's idealized Rembrandt has led his followers into a disastrous policy of rejecting works that are not neat enough to meet their unrealistic expectations of Rembrandt's genius. But we find Rembrandt's same restless and inventive spirit in the etchings, the drawings, and the paintings. There's another drawing of Job, which is accepted as a Rembrandt, but it's nothing like so interesting. Its main interest for me is that it confirms the presence of the same group of models enacting the same scene for Rembrandt. It seems probable to me that he corrected the first after doing this second version.